guys, how's it going? Today's video is going to be a Valentine's Day makeup tutorial. I'm going to be talking you through the makeup that I am going to be wearing on Tuesday. Brooks and I are just going to go out for dinner, just keep things pretty casual. We aren't ones to really make a huge deal about Valentine's Day, but I do like Valentine's Day. I think that it's awesome that there is a day, you know, just to spread love and just to tell the people around you how much you care about them. So whether you are spending Valentine's Day with your significant other or with a group of friends or, you know, just at home with Netflix and a bottle of wine, I mean, that sounds very enjoyable. But whatever or wherever you may be, I hope that you guys have a really, really good Valentine's Day. And yes, I hope you enjoy seeing this makeup look. Let's jump into it. All right, for foundation, I'm going to be taking my L'Oreal True Match Lumi Healthy Luminous Makeup. I love the finish on this foundation because it has a very nice kind of natural finish on the skin. Mine is in the shade W12 Porcelain Light Ivory. And I find with this foundation, a little bit goes a long way. It really spreads out and blends onto the skin evenly and just easily, which I really, really like. Back in the day, you guys, this was the only foundation that I owned. Like whenever I'd run out of it, I would repurchase it. And this was back, you know, when I didn't have an enormous amount of foundations to be using. This was really my go-to, and I still really like it to this day. I kind of miss those days in my life when I just had like a few products of each of things that I really, really, really loved. So that seems like a nice simple time in my life, you know? But you can see this foundation just has such a nice natural finish on the skin. It is not full coverage by any means. I'm definitely going to need to go in with a little bit of concealer afterwards, but this is such an amazing foundation, and I truly feel like if you are only looking to have one foundation in your life, this is a great option. I do have drier skin, and that is, I think, another reason why I love it so much. But there's actually one that's just called True Match. It doesn't have the loomy quality to it, like the dewiness to it. So if you are oilier, you can go with that one. I've used that one as well, but I do prefer this one right here. But this foundation is amazing, you guys, and I think it is 100% comparable to my high-end expensive foundations, and I absolutely love it. Mine is in the shade W1-2 Porcelain Light Ivory, and I quite like the shade of it. So yes, highly recommend this, and I think it's perfect for a Valentine's Day date night type of makeup because it's not like super full coverage. It's very, very natural on the skin. Not that you can't wear full coverage for Valentine's Day. I just, for me personally, want to do like a nice kind of fresh, light, natural look. You know. I'm actually, instead of concealing, just taking a little bit more of the foundation in the areas where I need it to give me that a little bit more extra coverage. And it builds up so nicely because it is such a lightweight foundation. Like, I don't feel like there's anything on my skin right now, which is such a nice part about this. For concealer, I'm going to be taking the NYX Gotcha Covered. I haven't used this a ton just because I don't find these little squeezy tubes to be that convenient, but this has super, super full coverage. So that is kind of what I'm going for here. Nice kind of like light natural coverage foundation, but then I want my under eye area to be super bright and fresh looking. And if you have drier under eyes like I do, I highly recommend a squeezy tube type of concealer because they're so hydrating. If you have oily skin, you probably wouldn't like this type of concealer because it almost would be too much moisture and hydration. And I don't want to use the word oiliness like to describe the concealer because that sounds negative, but it actually does have somewhat of an oily texture to it. But for me, with drier skin, I actually really, really love it. But this type of concealer, it is so important to set it with powder because if you don't, it's just going to shift and slide all over your face all day. So I just like to put it on with my finger and then use my beauty sponge to blend it all in. And I'm just bringing whatever is left over underneath my eye onto my lid as somewhat of an eyeshadow primer. To set my face makeup, I'm going to go in with the Maybelline Fit Me powder. Mine is in the shade 110, and this is the matte and poreless version. This is a really nice powder. It's very, very fine and goes onto the skin in a very like silky way. It's not heavy at all. So I like to use this when I'm not looking for a ton of extra coverage, but I just want to make sure that foundation is set in place because I do find that L'Oreal Lumi, it is one that I absolutely need to set because it'll transfer and I don't want to be, you know, getting it all over the place when I'm hugging people or anything like that, or laying on a pillow. You know, you guys know. So I'm just going to put this on to basically my whole face, but just in a very nice light layer. And then I'm actually going to use the same powder to set my under eyes. I think that this powder works well underneath the eyes and on the whole face. I just like to switch over to a little tapered brush because I find it easier to get in there. And I am just going to put a nice light layer on there as well. But again, that concealer is something you definitely want to be setting. I've just got it all up in my hair. If you have dark hair, you know the problem, the issue of getting foundation all up in your hairline and looking like you got some gray sprouting out there, which I do, by the way, you guys. I have gray hair now. It's been like a weird adjustment for me. I don't think any of my friends have gray hair. I'm 27, so I feel like it's a little bit young, but you know what? I've accepted it. I'm not even mad about it. This is, you know, it's mature. I'm showing signs of maturity. To fill in my brows, I'm going to take the Urban Decay Brow Beater Microfine Brow Pencil and Brush. Mine is in the shade Neutral Brown, and to be completely honest with you guys, I completely forgot about this product. I found it in my drawer recently, and I remembered how much I freaking love it. This little spoolie is so nice, and this neutral brown shade is perfect. Lately, I've been noticing that my brows look very red with like even the products that I think of as very cool undertoned, but this neutral brown has just been awesome, and I don't know why more people don't talk about this product because it is really awesome. So what are you guys doing for Valentine's Day? Are you going on a date? Do you have plans with your friends? Are you just hanging out at home? Like what are you guys doing? I am going on a date with Brooks. We're just gonna go out for dinner. We honestly don't go out for dinner that often. Our schedules are very opposite. So I'm actually super looking forward to it. I don't really make a big deal about Valentine's Day. Him and I both don't. But I do think it's nice to acknowledge it, and it's just a day about love for me. Even when I was single, I didn't really like care about it. I know for some people it's, you know, upsetting to not have a Valentine, but I hope that you guys don't feel that way if you don't have a Valentine, because I'll be your Valentine. Just a little tip when you're doing your brows, if you fill in the inner part too intensely, like I just did on this one, I just take my ring finger and I literally press upwards just at the very base. And I find just like making that line at the bottom not as harsh, it immediately kind of brings them back to looking natural, because as you guys know, I love having more natural looking brows. I don't like anything to ever look too harsh. And I find that just using your finger to really kind of press that product away from that very bottom part immediately makes it look not as intense. So just wanted to share that little tip, because I so often just do one little like flick at the bottom and it makes it look super intense and harsh and not enjoyable. Also, do you guys like my nail polish color? I'm super into it for some reason. It's one from Essie. I will link it down below because I don't know the name, but I just think it's so pretty. I normally do really like pale lavender, so having this more like just like a light purple I think is so nice for this time of year too. So just wanted to point that out. Another amazing thing about this brow pencil is that if you try to put the lid on the wrong end, it stops you. So you know how so many of the brow pencils out there, the lids don't match up, like the spoolie side is smaller than the actual pencil side. If I try and put the wrong side on, say this one, it stops me, see? So you don't smush the actual product and break the pencil. I think that is just genius, and I love it when products have really kind of like thoughtful things like that. So now product is all safe, not smushed. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm gonna jump back to the face here. I'm just going to do a nice kind of bronzing all over the skin using my Urban Decay Beach Bronzer in Sunkissed. You guys know how much I love this bronzer, and I am just going to put that on to my cheeks, into the contours, but bringing it upwards because I don't want anything too harsh. Again, I want just like a really like fresh, flirty, natural type of makeup look. And there are so many different ways you can go for Valentine's Day makeup. You don't have to do anything natural, because I really hate it when people think like, oh, guys don't like makeup. Like, I'm not wearing makeup for anyone else but myself. In fact, I will tell you guys, I've been doing bridal makeup for the past few years, and I can't tell you how many times brides say to me, well, my husband doesn't like it, or my fiance doesn't like it when I have too much makeup on. And I'm like, well, what do you like? What do you want to wear on your wedding day, you know? And I'm like, it I understand like taking that your significant other's opinion into account. I totally get that. But like to actually change your intention and what you want to do because of, I just don't like it. I just don't like that. And I feel like Brooks, he knows not to ever say wear less makeup. And then for blush, I'm going to use another item from the True Match collection. This is in the shade, I don't even know how they shade these, Barely Blushing. This is so beautiful. I never really was into these blushes. I just never had tried them out, but I've always heard people talk about them and say they're awesome. I'm so happy I actually finally picked my hands up. What? Got my hands on this one. It has the most beautiful rosy tone to it, and I've just been so into natural blushes lately, and I just think this one gives just the prettiest kind of sheen. It has no shimmer in it, but it almost has a satin finish, so I highly recommend checking these out. They have a ton of different shades based on your skin tone. They blend into the skin super nicely. So I'm just putting on a little light layer. And then I'm going to go back with my beauty sponge and just kind of press over top of it, just because I want to make sure that it looks like an actual natural blush and not too intense. Moving along to highlighter, I'm going to use two different highlighters. I'm going to take, the first one is from NYX. They're both from NYX, but this is a single one. This is in the shade Enigmatic. This is more of like a blush topper for myself. It's just like a really nice rosy pink, light pink type of shade. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that right on the apples of my cheeks because I think that it has the most beautiful tone to it, and it really helps to give a little bit of dimension to the cheeks. I've been doing this a lot lately, just layering different kind of blush products. So this is how this one looks. Super pretty. You could leave it here, but since I just want the glow to be a little bit more intense, I'm going to also go into my Strobe of Genius palette, and going into the lightest vanilla shade, I am going to put a little bit of that, woo, see? Just on the highest point. Moving on to the eyes, I want to do a very simple, fresh eye makeup look, kind of what I've been talking about this whole time. And I'm going to use this guy. I have not used this on my channel in so long, you guys. But of course, for a Valentine's Day makeup look, this is just where my mind went to. I'm actually just going to use a few shades in here and also use this single eyeshadow. This Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, it's such an interesting, like, my feelings about it are very interesting. I don't think that this is a great palette, to be honest, you guys. A lot of the shimmery shades in here don't have a lot of payoff. They're kind of like crumbly, but I have such like an emotional tie to this palette because this is a few years ago, like 4 years ago now, my dad bought me this palette for Christmas, and it was like the second palette I've ever owned after the Stila in the Light palette. So I just have such like an emotional tie to it for that reason. So I never would get rid of it, but I don't reach for it a lot. But I will say that the two matte shades in here, Limit and Nooner, are actually really good, and that's what I'm going to be using today. And I think we'll also go into this Black Heart one. But yeah, overall, this isn't a palette. I think that there are better palettes out there, to be honest. In fact, the Naked 1 and Naked 2 palettes are both better. But if you have this palette, it is usable, and I do like it. I shouldn't be giving it such a hard time. But like this shade called Dust, that is exactly what it is. It is just dust when it's on. It like nothing comes off when it's on your hand. It's really not good. But in general, those are my thoughts on the Naked 3 palette, if you guys were curious. So let me just get started here. I'm going to go in with Limit. This is the lighter matte shade, and I'm going to put that into my crease area. And you can see that this shade is actually so nice. Like, as much as, the shimmery shades in the palette are not the best, this Limit shade is such a beautiful dusty rose shade. And it's interesting because when the Naked 3 palette first came out and when I first got it, I was obsessed with it. Like, I could not use anything else. I had these very like pink romantic type of eye looks for probably 3 months straight because I just could not get myself away from it. So don't get me wrong, I do love this palette. I think now that I just have a little bit more experience and a little bit and more palettes for that matter, and I've tried more out, I realized that the formula in here isn't the best. But like even putting on this rosy shade right here, I remember why I love it so much. And then switching to a little pencil brush, I'm also going to take that color on my lower lash line. I'm also going to go in with Nooner. This shade is a little bit deeper than the first one, and on a little bit of a smaller tapered blending brush, I'm going to put that directly into my crease. And again, just kind of really deepening up the eye area to make that really nice kind of mauve type of shading that we have happening. And I love pink colors. Ooh, I was also going to say, the last video I posted, it is a very kind of like pink look, and it would actually be really nice for Valentine's Day as well, so I will link that down below if you guys want to see it. I use the new Maybelline blush palette as eyeshadows in there, so I'll link that down below if you want to see it, because I was actually thinking, at the time it was like at the end of January, so I wasn't even thinking about Valentine's Day yet, but it actually would be a really, really nice Valentine's Day look as well. And then I'm just using Strange from the palette here to just lightly highlight my brow bone. For all over the lid though, I'm actually going to go in with a single shadow. This is from L'Oreal, and this is the Infallible eyeshadow in Iced Latte. I know that I've talked about these a million times, and these are so popular across YouTube, but it is for good reason. They are amazing eyeshadows, and it's almost more like a pressed pigment in my opinion, and this Iced Latte shade is just so gorgeous, and I'm actually just going to use my finger to press this all over the lid. And then using a brush, because I find it easier just to get into the inner corner with a brush, I am going to use that same shade to keep that area nice and bright. I am going to put some of the NYX Wonder Pencil, this is like a very nude eyeliner, into my waterline. There are just shadows all over my face right now. Hold please. Okay, sorry about that. I had to close the blinds because it was very shadowy happening on my face. Now, instead of using eyeliner, I'm actually just going to use an eyeshadow because again, I just want this look to be kept very like soft and no edges or anything like that. So actually using Blackheart in the Naked 3 palette, it is the coolest eyeshadow. It is like a black, like dark brown black eyeshadow that has like some like pinky red shimmer in it, but it's actually on the line. It just kind of looks like a beautiful multi-dimensional kind of dark black shade, and it almost looks like a deep purple. It's really cool. I really love this eyeshadow. So using a little angled brush, I am just going to take some of that eyeshadow, and I'm not even going to really think about creating a line. I am just going to think about pressing this in to my lashes to just make the base of them look more full. Using an angled brush also makes it just so easy because even though I have not made a wing at all, I am just extending my lash line ever so slightly just to give my eyes a nice elongated look. Now I'm going to curl my lashes and apply some mascara. This look, what the heck? This look would look beautiful with false lashes on, some really nice, like pretty, wispy, flirty ones. But for me, I've just really been into natural lashes lately. You know how Tati's been doing natural lashes? I just feel like whatever Tati does, I want to do. Not actually, but I have just noticed my lashes lately when I've had false lashes on, my eyes get quite irritated. So for example, like tonight I'm going out with some friends, we're going out for dinner. And so I don't want to be worried about my lashes irritating my eyes. And so just doing mascara has been enjoyable lately. Oh, and I'm using Maybelline Lash Sensational. This is basically my favorite mascara of all time. So just using a good old Faithful for the mascara today. And what I love about using an eyeshadow with eyeliner, now that I have mascara on, it doesn't even really look like I have on an eyeliner at all. It just looks like the base of my lashes are nice and thick and full. And so that has been kind of my go-to lately. And that mascara, it kind of like got a little bit flaky on me. So I just waited for it to dry, and I'm just going in with a clean Q-tip here. And if you just brush lightly, it completely comes off when it is dry. Now for lipstick, I'm actually super excited about this because I have been more into bold lips lately. I just am such like a nude lipstick girl at heart, but lately I have been kind of branching out a little bit. So for my Valentine's Day look, I'm going to do a nice, beautiful fuchsia color because it's Valentine's Day, and I think that it keeps a very nice kind of fresh, natural vibe to the look as opposed to like a red. But this look, you guys, is so neutral that you could throw on any lip color that you like. And so I am going to use this one from NYX. This is the Butter Lipstick, and this is in the shade Razzle Fiesta. So I'm going to apply this, and I'm also going to use the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Strawberry Parfait over top because I think it'll be a beautiful combination. So let's see how this goes. I love these butter lipsticks. They're so hydrating on their own. You don't need to do a gloss over top, but I love this strawberry parfait shade. It's just a touch deeper than the lipstick, and that's what I'm going for. So I'm going to apply this now. Alright, so that wraps up today's look. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing this super simple Valentine's Day look. Please let me know what you guys are doing for Valentine's Day because I'm curious. Like, do you guys got some hot dates planned or what's going on? I hope you guys all have an amazing Valentine's Day though, whatever it is that you end up doing. And thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe because it means so much to me, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!